Put some money in your new Investment for Fortune account. Today. Start reading with intensity for your new Wealth of Mind plan. Today. Write a postponed letter today. Make a delayed telephone call today. Pick up your camera and take a picture of something to start your new treasury of photographs today. Get some momentum going on your new commitment to the better life. See how many activities you can pile on in this first day.
This journey that I'm on, and knowing that the distance ahead for me is shorter than the distance I have come thus far. I want you to write this down, please. Write this down. And that is, live with a sense of urgency. Live with a sense of urgency. And people that are living with a sense of urgency, they spend their time doing things that's them. This, what I'm doing now, this is me.
It takes such a desperate, obsessive focus to excel on the level that I want to make movies. You know, I was Star Wars. When I was young, I sat in the movie theater and watched Star Wars, and I just couldn't believe that movie made me feel like that, just floored and just stunned by the creativity. And just, I'm realizing that in order to move people in that way, in order to touch people in that way, you really got to focus.
I remember back to what my principal said, 'cause I went to the principal when they wrote it on my car and in my notebook, and the best advice he can give me, God help his soul, was this: they're ignorant. And so but honestly, I talked to the guy as I wrote my book, and I have nothing wrong with Principal Freeman. I actually interviewed him for the book, and he was happy to interview. He's a good man. What you could tell some black kid, you're a white guy in white society, we could tell him.
You know, you kind of have this idea that a chimpanzee troop is driven, let's say, by the most dominant, powerful male, the most aggressive, cruel, tyrannical chimpanzee dominates. And that isn't what Franz de Waal found. What he found was that in order that those sorts of chimpanzee troops have leaders that meet very violent ends, because no matter how tyrannical you are as top chimp, two chimps 3/4 your size can take you out. And they will. And chimpanzees are unbelievably brutal.
I think about how many times I've closed the door. I didn't think something would work out, and God came through my doubt, through my fear, through what I thought was impossible. When we wanted to build a new auditorium, twice the land we found was sold out from under us. The first time it happened, I was certain that was the enemy trying to take our property. I kept praying, believing, hoping.
You got to understand that this hard time that you're going through is everything you're going through is preparing you for what you ask God for. Every trial and tribulation you go through prepares you for the life God has for you. All the hard times. First of all, let me just say just one last thing. Now I got to take this picture. You cannot name one single thing that God has not brought you through.
Stay clean. Everyone say stay clean. For whoever would love life and see good days must keep his tongue from evil and his lips from deceitful speech. He must turn from evil and do good. He must seek peace and pursue it. Ooh, that's good. Let me just tell you something right now. Many of us, we continue to suffer because we don't have control of our mouth. You either control your mouth or your mouth is going to control you.
It's only because you have a job that you're able to survive. Most of us want more than what we already have. But the fact that you do have, and you're being mean, you have an attitude, everything about what you've been doing is basically self-sabotage. You're trying to, it's like, okay, here's a blessing, here's an opportunity right here in front of me. I'm gonna use my charm to get in the door, and then I'm gonna become an asshole. Self-sabotage, self-defeat.
Here's how you change. 5 simple, quick steps, and then I'm going to give you a little tool that if you want to, you can go online and really make a change with. If you're going to change your life, step 1, I don't care if something has happened to you. You know, somebody has spilled oil all over where you fish. It's disgusting how they dealt with it, but it's happened. You got to deal with it. Something's happened. Someone in your family's been injured. You've lost your job. I don't care what the problem is. If you're in a crisis, step number 1, see it as it is.
It doesn't move God, and he's basically just saying, when are you going to shut up and start acting like you really believe me? Amen? Now, there's a time to sit down and tell God how you feel, but then that should take you about 2 or 3 minutes, and then you need to go back to the Word of God. People who did things by faith. I mean, some pretty outrageous things. Abel brought his best offering by faith.
When she touched him, immediately her bleeding stopped, and she felt in her body that she was free from her suffering. She was already free. Why'd he call her back? Not to reprimand her? Maybe he called her back to give her a little bit more money or a little bit more details, or maybe to give her a little extra help. So I read that over and over again. Somebody say, I'm not what I thought. You remember how she snuck up and said, if I touch it, and then I sneak away?
That fear generally is in your mind.
Yeah.
That, you know, when you get up on stage to do a public speaking, people are not going to throw tomatoes at you and say, oh my, you're an idiot, get off the stage. No,
right.
They're going to sit there, you know, so there's nothing to fear.
Yeah.
It's in your head. Rome wasn't built in a day. We all know that. Everyone hears that. But Rome also didn't fall apart overnight either.
I want you to start to think about next year. Let's just pick June 2021, okay? It's enough time to think that things might be a little bit different. What could the current you do right now that will bring you closer and start to close the gap with the future you? That's the power of your dreams, is they pull you forward. They make you think beyond the circumstance. They remind you of who you are. And so start with what you value. Start with the stuff you don't like that's happening right now in your life.
Go all out. Break away from the negative downward pull of gravity. Start the thrusters going. Prove to yourself that waiting is over, hoping is past, and that faith and action have now taken charge. It's a new day, a new beginning for your new life.
If your comfort zone is this big and you stay in your comfort zone, that's where you'll fail. In order to succeed in life, you have to step outside of your comfort zone. But I want to tell you something about yourself. All of you are equipped to live outside of your comfort zone. See, a lot of people are afraid to jump. A lot of people are afraid to take chances. A lot of people are afraid to put things up for risk. And you shouldn't be. Now, you can be afraid, but you should learn how to go ahead anyhow. See, because let me show you something about yourself. For all the bad days you've ever had, for every day that you thought you wasn't going to get through, for every period in your life you did not see no way you could come out on the other side, your track record for surviving them bad days is 100%. You have survived every single one of them. Your track record for surviving bad days, y'all, is 100%. And that's pretty good. You can't name one bad day you ain't got through. I have a life of convenience now. But in order to get the life of convenience, you got to have a very uncomfortable life. You got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Stop trying to do everything the short way. Stop trying to figure out the easy way. You got to get messed up sometime. You got to get dirty. You got to get your feelings hurt. You got to get disappointed. You got to get told no. You're going to ask somebody for some money. He going to tell you no. But show me something that has grown into something beautiful that didn't have no dirt on it. You take a seed and throw it on the concrete. Don't put no dirt on it and watch what happens. See, you get tripped out because you got dirt on you. But you need dirt on you to develop. Because dirt ain't just dirt. Dirt is fertilizer. Dirt is nutrients. Dirt gives you the strength for your seed to push through. See, you got to have dirt on you to push through something. Everything you see that's beautiful starts out as a seed, but that seed got to get dirt on it. See, you get mad when haters come your way. You get mad because you get a setback. You get mad because you get thrown off course. You get mad because you get a detour. That's just dirt. You get mad because they talking about you. That's dirt. You get mad because you lost your mama. That's dirt. I want you to think about all them bad moments you had that looked like you wasn't going to make it. And then I want you to ask yourself, well, why did I make it? Just change your mindset. If you change your attitude, you change your altitude.
My suggestion to all young people, if you could just hear me clearly, don't do what I did. Mess off all of their 20s. From 20 to 29, they just jack it off. They just jack off their 20s. They mess them up. Because 20 is that age, man, where you just really just trying to have too much fun. You're free, you're out of college, you don't live at your mama's house no more, you're out on your own. So what do? Mostly all of us, 98% of the people I know, we spend our 20s trying to exert ourselves in the fun category. We got to get off work so we can go to happy hour. We got to get off work so we can go get high. We got to get off work so we can go drink a cold. We got to get off work, go smoke one. We got to go hang out with the fella. We got to play video games. The average person blows all of their 20s. Then when you find out that life ain't waiting on you, now you're 30. Now guess what happens to mostly all of us, including myself? I spent all of my 30s trying to do the things that I should have been doing in my 20s. So now my life is behind. Now you look up and you're 40s. You in your 40s. And now you're trying to do the things and have the things that you could have had in your 30s, man, had you just done what you should have did in your 30s. And then the tragedy starts to occur. You look up and you're 50. Now that don't mean it's too late for you, because it wasn't too late for me. But you look up and you're 50. And now all of a sudden, all through your 50s, you trying to create and have a life that you could have created and had in your 30s.
My hero. That's who I chase. Now, when I was 15 years old, I had a very important person in my life come to me and say, who's your hero? And I said, I don't know, I got to think about that. Give me a couple of weeks. I come back 2 weeks later. This person comes up and says, who's your hero? I said, I thought about it. You know who it is? I said, it's me in 10 years. So I turned 25 10 years later. That same person comes to me and goes, so are you a hero? And I was like, not even close. No. She said, why? I said, because my hero is me at 35. So you see, every day, every week, every month, and every year of my life, my hero is always 10 years away. I'm never going to be my hero. I'm not going to attain that. I know I'm not. And that's just fine with me, because that keeps me with somebody to keep on chasing. I'm going to talk to you about some things I've learned in my journey. Most from experience. Some of them I heard in passing. Many of them I'm still practicing, but all of them I do believe are true. Life is not easy. It is not. Don't try to make it that way. Life's not fair. It never was. It isn't now, and it won't ever be. Do not fall into the trap, the entitlement trap, of feeling like you're a victim. You are not. Get over it and get on with it. And yes, most things are more rewarding when you break a sweat to get them. Happiness is an emotional response to an outcome. If I win, I will be happy. If I don't, I won't. And I say, if happiness is what you're after, then you're going to be let down frequently, and you're going to be unhappy much of your time. Joy, though, joy is a different thing. It's something else. Joy is not a choice. It's not a response to some result. It's a constant. Joy is the feeling that we have from doing what we are fashioned to do, no matter the outcome. Now, personally, as an actor, I started enjoying my work and literally being more happy. Define success for yourself. Now, check this out. I'm in south of New Orleans a few years ago, and I went to a voodoo shop. And they had this wooden partition against the wall with these columns. And in these columns were all these vials of these magic potions, right? And the headings above each potion defining what they would give you were things like fertility, health, family, legal help, energy, forgiveness, money. Guess which column was empty? Money. Let's admit it. Money is king today. It's what makes the world go round. It is success. The more we have, the more successful we are, right? Now, I would argue that our cultural values have even been financialized. Humility is not in vogue anymore. It's too passive. It's a get rich quick on the internet, rich is 15 minutes of fame world that we live in, and we see it every day. But we all want to succeed, right? So the question that we got to ask ourselves is what success is to us, what success is to you.
Have you ever had somebody leave you and they thought when they left you that you wasn't going to make it? Send them a picture. Do a selfie.
I want to check your stability today, okay? I want to check your emotional stability. Are your emotions stable?
You don't have to have a perfect person to have a marriage. You don't have to have a perfect job to pay the bills. You can make it on broken pieces. Stop focusing on what you lost and start living on what you've got left.
The key is what we do in our times of pain. Pain will change us. Heartache, loss, disappointments, they don't leave us the same. If you go through a divorce, a friend betrays you, eventually that will pass. You'll get through it, but you will be different. Now, how the pain changes you is up to you.
I have learned that every blessing doesn't come to stay. Every relationship wasn't meant to last. Every friend is not going to be a lifelong friend. God will send people in your life for a season because you needed that at that time in your life. And if they walk away, don't stand there at the tomb of what used to be and cry over what was, because if you'd have needed them for the future, they would have stayed.
You can come out bitter or you can come out better. You can come out defeated, giving up on your dreams, or you can come out with a new passion, excited about the new opportunities in front of you. All of us experience pain. My challenge, don't just go through it, grow through it. That difficulty is an opportunity to get stronger, to develop character. Anybody can give up. Anybody can let it overwhelm you. But you know what that's doing? Wasting your pain. That pain is not there to stop you. It's there to prepare you, to increase you, to develop you.
You need to be your own best ally, your own best friend. Don't be against yourself. If you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. Come on, some of you, your biggest problem right now is you don't like yourself.
You cannot impose your will on me, so you can wish it, you can want it, but you can't make me be what I don't want to be. You have to always keep your heart prepared for rejection. Never get so comfortable in the lap of the applause of men that you actually believe it, because it is easy to love people when other people love them. The hardest time to love people is when everybody turns against them and they're writing about them and they're talking about them and they're in the news and they're in the paper and they're everywhere. And that's why I exalt loyalty above everything else, because I appreciate most not the people who are with me when people are with me. I appreciate people who are with me when everybody turns against me. And you knock on my door and say, I still love you. Now you got clout with me.
Realize this, just because it's a chapter doesn't mean it's your whole story. So for me, I just understand that it's very important to embrace pain, to go through it, because I believe the foundation of all strength is pain.
I've gotten rid of all my problems because I have a choice. Nobody wants to hang out with negative, dark, and dysfunctional people, including certain people in my family. I don't need no negative energy, homie. I want to wake up every day and smile.
This is a softened generation. So if you have any mental toughness, any ability, if you have any fraction of self-discipline, the ability to not want to do it but still do it. But if you can get through to doing things that you hate to do, on the other side is greatness. I'm training my mind and my body and my spirit so it's all one, so I can handle what life is going to throw at me. Because the life I've lived, it throws a whole bunch at you. And if you're not physically and mentally prepared for that, you're just going to crumble and you're good for nobody.
Because on the other side of that is your growth. On the other side of that is strength. Even in going through pain, like I look at pain as a positive thing. I'm not talking about putting yourself through pain on purpose, but it's just like working out. You know, the only way you're going to get strength in your life is if you go through that hard moment, that tough moment.
Successful people know how to change with the times. They don't get stuck in a rut. doing the same thing the same way year after year. They're constantly evaluating where they are and what they're doing. And they make adjustments so they can improve.
Life is hard. It's tainted by malevolence and betrayal. That can make you bitter. You need a meaning to offset that. Where's the meaning to be found? Not in rights, not in impulsive pleasure, but in responsibility. You take responsibility for yourself. If you're good at it, you have some excess left over to take care of your damn family. Those are heavy burdens. You pick up the burdens and find that's meaningful. The best way to pick up the burden is to continually improve yourself. And that's where the meaning is to be found. And so that meaning is in the continual self-transcendence. That's letting your old self die and the new self be reborn.
Just because something worked 5 years ago doesn't mean it's still going to work today. We have to stay open for change. This is why many people don't have any enthusiasm. There's no freshness in their life. Every time an opportunity comes for change, for increase, because they're not used to it, they shrink back. They don't realize that's what's keeping them from going to the next level.
Everything you imagine is a preview to a coming attraction. Once you understand that, it opens up a wide range of things and possibilities. Imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attraction. That simply means everything that's in your imagination is a preview of a coming attraction that God has for you. That's why He puts it in your imagination.
And in the coming days, don't be surprised if God brings new opportunities across your path. You'll be tempted at first to play it safe. Think about all the reasons why you can't do it. You have a gift. You have something to offer. Don't use your God-given talents for the wrong purposes.
As you continue to grow and develop, you will soon discover that last year's systems won't likely meet this year's needs. You see, one of the keys to success is flexibility. We must always be on the search for more effective methods to facilitate and accommodate new ideas.
It's not too late to start right where you are. Some of you today, you just need some freshness in your life. Start stretching yourself. You have to stir up what God's put on the inside. If you don't have a dream, you're not really living, you're just existing.
Just check the circle of your friends, because the company you keep tells a whole lot about you. The people around you, the more time you spend with them, I don't care who you are, you're going to become like them. The friends in your life are shaping the future of your life. We're not talking about acquaintances. We're not talking about friends at work. We're talking about our circle of friends.
A lot of people don't ever do the things they're capable of doing because they allow themselves to go along with the crowd, following the crowd. And they find themselves in relationships with people who are addicted to mediocrity, and they allow their behavior to influence their behavior, following the crowd. Many people don't do it because of the fact that they allow their lack of self-confidence to immobilize them.
The older I get, the more and more I am convinced that people are borderline obsessed with what's next. I think it's important that you have a vision for your life, and I think it's important that you have an idea of where you're headed, but if you're not careful, you'll get so obsessed with what's next that you'll miss out on what is right now. If you're in college, everyone's like, where are you gonna work? You work for a little while as a single person, everyone's like, when are you gonna get married? You get married, everyone's like, when are you gonna have kids? I'm like, when are you gonna shut up? People are always pushing us into the next season because there is this notion and this idea that somehow the grass is green over the fence on the other side. But it takes a mature man of God to recognize the grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is simply green where you choose to water the grass.
Some of you have been doing time on a deadbeat job. And every morning you have to make yourself get up out of the bed and go to work. Pull a smile on your face because you know you just serving time. I don't care how bad it looks. I don't care what the circumstance is. Keep the faith. God has not forgotten you. Keep the faith.
Just as God has divine connections lined up for you, people to encourage you, push you forward, He's also lined up people that will try to stop you, discourage you, try to make you look bad. And if you don't understand this principle, you'll get discouraged. That opposition wasn't meant to stop you. It was meant to establish you. When you overcome it, you will not only step into a new level of your destiny, but everyone around you will see the favor of God is on your life.
Well, I think the things that are bad that happen in life cheat you or break you. And you got to decide what you want them to do. I vote that you allow it to teach you. I vote that you learn from these people, that you learn how to forget about the past, that you learn how to ignore people that are negative, that you learn to control your vengeful ideas, and that you learn to move on into the future where you're going to meet better people and better times to be had. That's what I would recommend.
Your miracle is never in what you lost. It is always in what you have left. And so when you start looking at what you have left, stop grieving over what you lost. Because if you needed it, you wouldn't have lost it. It might only be a pot of oil, but if it's left, the miracle's always in what's left.
I'm not telling you to change your heart and your desire to help people. What I am trying to tell you is that your circle should not be full of people that are pulling you down. Your circle should be full of people that are pulling you up. Someone say, check your circle. You can't honor people further than you. You can't reach up. Instead, you're more comfortable with everyone at your level or beneath you because it feeds your ego that you need it. If you're the smartest person in your group, you need another group.
Everything magic is challenging, but once you figure out the challenge and go for it, then the magic occurs. Let me tell you how magical people working together is. If 2 or 3 agree on a common purpose, nothing is impossible. Just try that on for your mental side. If 2 or 3 agree on a common purpose, nothing's impossible. Everybody's looking for a challenge. Here's what I teach. Here's the best challenge in the world. Let's go do it. Not you go do it. Let's go do it. If 2 or 3 of us decide on a common purpose to do it, nothing's impossible. Working together, organized. When everybody's an independent, now it's a little more challenging. It's challenging. We've got a variety. But that's what makes life the variety.
Don't isolate yourself and think, well, I'm strong enough. I'm tough enough. I'm talented enough. Are you flying solo, or do you have a community of faith? People flying with you, watching over you, encouraging you, inspiring you.
Here's one of the powers of working together, shared testimonials. If I've got somebody new and you're there and I'm there, I give them my testimonial, you give your testimonial. Maybe what tips the scales in getting me a new person is not my testimonial, but my partner's testimonial, somebody I'm working with. Shared testimonials are so powerful. That's why working together is powerful. Now, working by yourself is okay. All this stuff is okay. Everybody needs to know, though, where are the advantages?
You can be good by yourself, but you can't be great by yourself. You won't become all you were created to be without the right people around you. You can go 60%, but when you get in formation, when you have a family of faith blocking for you, praying for you, encouraging you, you'll go 40% further. Every time we come together, you're being refreshed, re-energized. It's like your batteries are being recharged. What the week took out of you, God is putting back in you.
You support what they're doing. You try and build a relationship with them. That's what you try and do. This part of this that we're talking about, the competitiveness. Like if they want to maneuver and try and make you look bad and jump in the spotlight and try and get all the credit, let them do it. And everyone is going to see what they're doing. And they might not see it immediately, but they will eventually be found out. So do your best to support them. Do your best to help them. Do your best to build the relationship. Make the mission the most important thing, not the little politics that you're about to dive into and get involved in. Don't make that the primary thing. Make the primary thing accomplishing the mission.
Hi, welcome back to Mind Control.
There is nothing as powerful as a changed mind. You can change your hair, your clothing, your address, your spouse, but if you don't change your mind, the same experience will perpetuate itself over and over again because everything outwardly changed, but nothing inwardly changed.
If you want something out of life, if you want to change yourself, if you want to acquire something, if there's some goal that you want to reach, changing your behaviors, overcoming negative habits, it's challenging. It's hard. Most people go through life never discovering what their talents are. Most people never develop their talents.
The only thing that's going to make you happy, my friend, in this year or any other, is to step up. It's to raise the standard. It's to discover what you're capable of and feel that incredible power of pushing through whatever's holding you back and get to the other side of more of your true self. That's what this game's all about.
When you step into your fears and continue to push yourself to go on, something happens for you.
If you look at somebody who's really successful and you think, wow, I mean, they're so amazing, they're such a genius, you gotta dig underneath and you gotta remember something. People are rewarded in public for what they've practiced for years in private.
If you don't develop the courage to do that which has been given you to do, and you spend a lot of time going around trying to convince other people or trying to get their approval, what will happen is that you will lose your nerve. And other people will convince you that what you're doing doesn't have any value, and you'll give up on your dream. How much time do you have left? How much time do you have left? When you start thinking about that, we don't know. Most of us don't use the stuff that we have brought into the universe. Stop wasting valuable time. If you want something, you have got to be relentless. You've got to learn how to become resourceful. You've got to learn how to become creative. The power to hold on in spite of everything, the power to endure. This is the winner's quality. The hunger, the ability to face defeat again and again without giving up. This is a winner's quality. What this power is, I cannot say. All I know is that it exists, and it becomes available only when a man or a woman is in that state of mind in which he or she knows exactly what he or she wants and is fully determined not to quit until they find it. There's greatness in you, and you've got to learn how to tune out the critics outside and the critic inside. I'm going to harness my will, and I'm not going to let anything stop me. I deserve this. Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful. There's nothing as powerful. It's hard to kill the human spirit. You are unstoppable. Live your life with passion, with supply. Most of us go through life without brakes on, holding back. Decide that you're going to push yourself. You've got to focus on you. And as you convince you, as you sell yourself every day, you will begin to see a difference in the things that you're doing. Selling yourself on your ability to perform a job, to achieve a certain objective. Telling yourself every day, here I go again. And I got what it takes. This is my day.
There are many ways to get the things that we want for ourselves in our lives. But basically, it all begins with how we choose to think. As you think, so shall you be. 7 little words that I think are perhaps the most important things that we can learn and master in our lives. This old proverb notion that I become what I think about all day long.
One of the major things Shoaff taught me when I met him, he said, poor thinking habits keeps most people poor. Not poor working habits. Most people work hard, but they don't think hard. And Shoaff taught me that the mind is like a factory, a mental factory. And whatever you think about all day long pours ingredients into this mental factory. And that's what builds the economic, social, financial fabric of your life. He quoted me a Bible phrase that says, as you think, so you become. How awesome.
We are how we think. Your brain is divided into 2 halves, positive and negative, good and evil. Ain't no neutral ground in your brain. It's either positive and good or negative and evil. You are in charge. You're the boss of the factory.
And once you know that what you think about is what expands, you start getting real careful about what you think about. You don't allow your thoughts to be on anything that you don't want or that you wouldn't want to have manifest or show up for you in your life.
Here's how you build anything. select the right ingredients, keep out the wrong ingredients, and it starts with thought. Everything starts with thought. So you must be wise and careful what you think about, because that starts everything. You got to be wise and careful. See, it doesn't matter who hands you the bad stuff. It doesn't matter where you get the bad stuff. It'll still do its damage on your bank account, wherever you get it.
So decide that you're going to take some time to work on you, that you deserve that from yourself, that your life deserves some prime time, because you are creating your own production. As Michael Todd would say, you are the star of your show. You are the director. You're writing the script. And you will determine whether your life is a hit or flop. You determine that. Overcoming the negative conversation, that inner dialogue that's going on all the time, even when you don't want it to be there. You can't stop yourself right now from thinking. You can't do it. It's going on. You've got to stand up inside yourself sometimes and say, shut up. I was going to give a presentation, and this voice inside of me saying, you can't do this. You don't have everything it takes. Shut up. I'm behind on my bills, and you're telling me what I can't do. I have got to do it. That's why you've got to learn to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to stand up inside yourself. Working on yourself, watching that inner dialogue, it will determine the quality of your life. I don't believe this. I know this.
Let me show you how this works. You wake up in the morning and you say, man, I don't feel myself today. I got up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm not a morning person. Man, I hate my alarm clock went off this morning. I got to get out here in this traffic. I'm going to drive down here today. I don't even like these people on my job. And on and on and on. And your day starts tumbling into what you ordered at the top of the day. You could wake up in the morning and you say, you know what? Today is going to be a great day today. I expect something really good to happen for me today. Man, thank you, Lord, for waking me up this morning. Same brain. Man, I can't wait to go to work today. It may not be the job I want, but at least I got a job. I'm so grateful I got a car to drive to work today. Hey, man, at least I got a check coming in. I sure want to thank you, Lord, for this roof over my head today. I appreciate the fact that I don't have a car, but at least I can walk to the train. Man, this is going to be great today. That's how your mind works 24/7. It never turns off.
Our lives are mostly affected by the way we think things are, not the way they are. The way we think they are affects us most.
You have got to change the way you think. It is the whole determining factor of where you go in life. We are all where we are today because we thought ourselves to this position. If you don't like the position, think yourself out of it.
Every day, stand guard at the door of your mind. And you decide what goes into your mental factory. Don't let anybody just dump anything they want to in your mental factory, because you've got to live with the result.
I want to suggest now that you really put on your thinking hat. Thinking is the highest function of which a human being is capable, and all the great leaders, all down through history, have been in complete and unanimous agreement that you and I become what we think about. Now play with that for a moment. It's a subject that is not taught in school. It's the highest function of which we're capable, and every great leader that has ever lived all told us that you and I become what we think about most of the time. Dr. Rampell wrote a paper, Tools for Teaching Thinking. He said thinking is a skill which can be learned just as we learn skills such as typing and playing the piano. Now, he said few public schools offer courses devoted expressly to teaching thinking. Rather, we are expected to learn and teach thinking as a byproduct of learning mathematics, reading, science, history, trade, and so forth. And he said we do, in fact, learn a lot about thinking in this way. The trouble is we learn our thinking skills in bits and pieces, and we never put it together as an overall picture. If asked to describe what all is required in order to think effectively, most people would be at a loss to give a complete account. Thus, we are unable to assess our own thinking skills or systematically teach the skill of thinking to others. Now, consider this for a moment. When you think in pictures. I'm going to suggest that you think of the home you live in, and as you do, realize that an image of your home comes onto the screen of your mind. It's almost as if there's a screen running right through the center of our head, and the second we think of our home, the picture of the home comes onto the screen of our mind. Now I want to suggest that you think of your automobile. And the second you think of your automobile, the picture of the home is gone, and the picture of the automobile is there. Think of where you work or go to school. And bang, 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 just like that, the picture changes. We literally think in pictures. Now I'm going to suggest that you think of your mind. Now, when most people think of their mind, they get an image of the brain. You see, mind is an activity, and body is the manifestation of that activity. Your brain is comprised of hundreds of thousands of cells. Into these cells, we impregnate pictures or images. And as we think, we activate that particular group of brain cells, and the picture that's in them flashes on the screen of the mind. Now, when you think of yourself and you think of money, what kind of a picture do you get? You know, the vast majority of people get a picture of poverty. And what we want to do is take and build cells of recognition in your brain for prosperity. Now, we're suggesting that you start to see money. Whenever you think of money, see this stuff as an obedient, diligent servant. You're the master, it's the servant. And don't ever get that equation reversed. Lack and limitation can only exist when we make room for them in our mind. But prosperity consciousness knows no lack and it knows no limitation. Now, I want to suggest that you resolve to just completely take the lid off your marvelous mind. Just blow it away. And let the greatness start to flow around in there. The type of thoughts and ideas which occupy your consciousness are of paramount importance in developing prosperity in your life. Your mind is either in an orderly or a confused state. Everything starts in our mind. Well, if we're going to have order in our mind, we must have an image of our mind, and most people don't have. So what we're going to do, now you can sit and you can watch this over and over and over again, because there's going to be parts of it that'll seem a little confusing to you first time through. But as you play it over and over and over again, the confusion will leave and order is going to come to your mind. There's many times I'll take a book and I'll read the same paragraph over and over again. This book of Napoleon Hill's, I've been reading that for 27 years. Now, it's not such that I'm such a slow learner. It's just there's so much depth in the book.
You would not believe what some people have got in their house to read. You would not believe. One of the best dressed up words I know for a lot of it is trash. Can you imagine dumping a barrel of trash into this mental factory every day and coming out with a rich, dynamic, positive life? It can't be done. You might as well try making a cake with cement.
Thank you so much for watching till the end. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Please also like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and families. Please watch our other motivational videos. Thank you again.